the one thing I noticed it this morning is this smells the way Justine always smelled, this kind of perfume or shampoo or whatever she used. And it's just, I know that I keep sniffing this, but it's such a strange feeling because she's been gone 3 years, and it's like she's still with me, and I find it very alarming. So this is the first thing I noticed, and then I see like some of these little beads or whatever they are coming off, and that makes me laugh because I can kind of imagine why that is, because Justine was so busy and she was so hyper, and she'd probably be walking on the beach or something and just decide to do a big flip or something like that, or I don't know what. And so I can see why there's like this messiness and these beads falling off. And then the other thing I'm thinking of is it's been folded ever since the last time she wore it, probably, because I've never worn it. It's just, when I took it from my aunt's house, it was folded, I kept it as it was, and until today it's been in a little bag, just like the way it was the day she died, or whenever she last touched it. And then I'm thinking about, should I put it on? Should I put the hoodie on? And I guess I will, because I'll show you what it looks like. It's just it's strange to me to think of, actually that almost looks like a chocolate stain, but I don't know if it is. I've never worn this, so it's like, not really ever worn it. It feels like entering somebody's world, and it's so, zipping it up. It feels like almost being embraced by her because of the smell, and it's fitted and it's soft. And when I think of Justine, I think of someone who's so kind and soft and nice to me, and who, despite all of these problems in this world that she became a part of with her addiction, I always see, and I guess this is partly why I'm so sad about her death, I just see this kind, soft, nice, funny person. And that's how this feels. This feels like, I don't know, this is a bit corny, but it feels a little bit like a hug or something from Justine. And it almost feels like, I don't know, paying my respects for a ritual, putting this on. And again, it's just this scent, it's so pronounced. It makes me think of being a little kid in her bedroom, and quite frankly, always sensing that as happy as it was for my brother and I to be playing with my cousin who was older and like a big sister for us, and as fun as she was, we could sense that there was this unhappiness, and that she had some troubles that she was going through, that it wasn't really a happy home. It's interesting what you, even as a really little kid, pick up on like that. And I just remember feeling that. Actually, I remember feeling that she was someone who needed to be protected. And that's what strikes me about something like this hoodie, is it really feels very protective. It feels like you have so much control, right? You can zip it all the way up, and no one can invade your space. And you can put this hood on. I'm gonna put the hood on, and it's like, it's not even that attractive, the hood, to me, but who cares, because now you're in your space. And I remember actually with Justine, just a few times when she would be walking with this like a hood right over, maybe she'd be I don't know, looking at something or just very quiet. And you knew that that this wasn't a good time for her, that she was going through something. That always struck me. That's why I always associate her with this kind of clothing. I really think for her it was protective. And again, I remember being a really little kid and feeling that she needed to be protected. And over the years, based on what she told me about her experiences, what happened to her, I mean, I can understand why I felt that. It just alarms me that as a little kid, just assuming that she had a normal life, I still felt this tension and this sense that it wasn't okay. Her world, nothing was really okay. The only thing I would say is this. The reason I picked this garment is that it has this tropical leaf pattern, and it was bought in Hawaii by her mother. And Justine loved Hawaii, and I guess lots of people love Hawaii, but the thing is, I think she saw it as a place where she could be happy. And the thing about Justine was actually, even though she did have happy times there, it didn't really matter where she was. It's like anyone, her problems were always with her. And so when I see this, I guess I feel sad, because I think it's sort of like, you know, ideally you could just put on any garment and it protects you from any problem, right? And this is like that. Ideally you put it on and, oh, here's a picture of Hawaii. Like Hawaii, you can just go there and you have no problems, right? Or any place, but for Justine it would have been Hawaii. But that wasn't actually the reality, and it just, at the end of the day, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't heal. I think Justine's trauma came from being different. She just never fit in, and actually that's what made her so likable. But when you're different, you're a kid at school and you're different, so often people just punish you for that. I mean, I had the same experience, but then, so that's one problem. On top of that, she had a father who was not kind. She, from a young age, experienced emotional, sexual, and physical abuse at a really young age, and pretty violent. And I think when you're that young and you don't fit in and you don't maybe feel connected at home or at school, I imagine a lot of trauma then stems from not only what's happened to you to create the trauma, but this accompanying feeling of just being so isolated and alone, because honestly, who can really relate to you? You know, what other 13-year-old kid can relate to some of the things that she went through? And especially knowing the little I know about some of the kids she went to school with, I don't think they would have cared, because they weren't nice to her anyways. So I think honestly, it's no surprise that she then had this addiction to drugs. She was probably haunted by everything that happened to her. And when you're using, you can forget, right? And actually you think you feel better. That's what she was going through. That's why she was using drugs. And the more she used drugs, I mean, unfortunately, her storyline becomes like many other people who are young women who become addicted to drugs. And so then you go through even more traumatic experiences, and you meet more people who are treating you in such a terrible way. And so you become more and more addicted, because again and again, I imagine you're just trying to find some way to feel like you're not alone and to just make the pain go away. Again, this is like another kind of making the pain go away substance. I mean, it's not a drug, but you're closing yourself into yourself. So that's where I think the trauma comes from.